My website is jimdukeperspective.com. You can hear us on any of your favorite podcast apps and players, and you could subscribe to us on Spreaker or your apps, your favorite apps. And I'm on Patreon too if you want to contribute there. Keep this effort going. So Trump's made a couple announcements that really kind of stirred up people. And I've got it related to some things along our topic. I'd like to talk about his mention of the Stargate Project, but also relate it to his mention of Golden Age. Remember he said?
Yes, Golden Age.
This is, what did he say? Let me get that, bring that up. So he was at his conference, at his inauguration. He says he promises a golden age of America in his speech. This is a golden age. And this stirred a couple people. I actually didn't catch this until people started talking about it. Then I started looking into it and found references. This is like synonymous with Golden Age or New Age or, and you remember when George H.W. Bush made mention and he said something about there's a 1,000 points of light.
Yes, 1,000 points of light. And I remember Trump commented like, "What's that mean? 1,000 points of light?"
What it means, it's a New Age term. It's a
Right.
Lucis Trust writes it in. Alice Bailey wrote about the rainbow initiation and the 7 rays and 1,000 points of light. This is all references to New Age. Well, and you wonder if George H.W. Bush was a New Ager or it's just that they've kind of fed him these buzzwords. And I wonder the same thing about Trump. If you remember, we talked about Steve Bannon, and I'm going to reveal eventually that he is a mystic, a cultist. You didn't even know that. And he was involved in propaganda algorithms of Cambridge Analytica, which analyze trigger words that people use for psychological tactics. And they fed Trump all these buzzwords, all these buzz phrases to use to help him win the election in 2016. And I don't doubt that somebody is behind him feeding him these terms, because I don't know that he knows what Golden Age really refers to. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the Stargate Project that has to do with the 2024 mention of it and what his idea of it is, because he's talking about fusing AI with monitoring. Remember when we talked about the Elon Musk Trojan horse?
Yes.
I was onto something. Operation Trojan horse. I made that up. And now I'm seeing people talking about Elon Musk and the Trojan horse, Trump and the Trojan horse. I wasn't far off. I just made that up. And I was talking about how it would be like these guys to be puppeted into something that they don't realize they're being puppeted into, ushering in something, and using them to build a Trojan horse with the conservatives and people that support them. You know, I know we talk about not wanting government intrusion involved with projects, and here Elon Musk is trying to connect everybody with AI through brain interfaces, and we have different technologies involved in OpenAI, and it's to do with monitoring. From what I heard about what Trump wanted, it's to do with AI infrastructure and coordinating interfacing our algorithms with like health monitoring and such. Weren't we talking about how that's intrusive of our invasion of our, it's surveillance, invasion of our privacy, and kind of linking us with transhumanism? And it's the very thing that they're doing, it seems, right?
I'm just wondering if there could be any good that could come out of it. Could it be
of course.
used for good purposes?
Of
perhaps?
course.
Yeah.
Everything that's evil can be used for good, Darren.
Right, like a hammer. A hammer can be used to build somebody's garage or smash their windows.
Right. Like surveillance is evil. But when surveillance is used to help you ward against terrorists in your neighborhood, you're all for it. So the
Right, right.
benefit of,
Yep.
of surveillance
So it's
isn't to monitor you and spy on you, Darren, and to build an algorithm database. It's to guard and protect you from those would-be criminals that would pose a threat. So of course it's beneficial.
so it's contingent upon the people who are using it, whether they're good or evil, essentially. So who will
Yeah.
be controlling the AI? That will
All
be
right. Who's controlling it? That's what we have to
Right.
really kind of
Yeah.
understand before we applaud it, right?
right. Yep.
So let me read this excerpt about this project Stargate that he's proposing. It's an American artificial intelligence joint venture created by OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle, and investment firm MGX. It's planning on investing billions of dollars, $500 billion in AI infrastructure in the United States by 2029. Planned since 2022, I thought 2024, formally announced by President Trump on January 21st. And it incorporated in Delaware as Stargate LLC. SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son will be the venture's chairman. It's a Japanese company. It's a Japanese investment firm, SoftBank. So now we're involving Japanese investors. It said to be named after the Stargate film in 1994, which, get this, the Stargates were portals to other dimensions or other worlds.
Mhm.
And it's compared to the Manhattan Project. Now we're starting to get suspicious, aren't we?
Does sound a little fishy.
Trump called it the largest AI infrastructure project in history and indicated it would be used for emergency declarations. No, it would use emergency declarations to expedite the development. What does that mean? Are they going to create an energy crisis? Larry Ellison contended that Stargate could lead to AI facilitated production of mRNA vaccines against cancer, Darren. So your goodness of this is, hey, if we can fight cancer, then it's good. Even if we use mRNA vaccines to do it, Darren, see how they throw that in with the emotion? I'm reviewing a video by a propagandist, a CIA propagandist right now. I'm going to be talking about this on how to spot propaganda and a psyops. And he said one of the major ways to discover a psyop is it trying to tug on your emotions first or plead to your, the triggers of a direction towards some benefit, hiding the means to get there. So you said, is it good? Well, if I posed it like this is a psyops. Darren, well, say I said to you, Darren, I want to impose on you an mRNA vaccine. Would you like it? What would you say?
I would say, no, thanks.
No, thanks. What if I said, Darren, I have an invention. We have an innovation that we're going to use AI to facilitate production against cancer. And we are able to end cancer altogether, bypass the whole cancer society and all these exploitations of cancer to get to the core of it and the root of it. And we are going to snuff out cancer in a short time frame by using AI and this new medical production. Now, doesn't that sound great?
I mean, it does on the surface sound good.
It does.
Yeah.
Now, what if I say, well, we're going to use mRNA vaccines to do it because we found out that that's the vehicle that can be used that's susceptible to blocking out cancer, Darren. And no more radio chemotherapy, or all these drugs that you have to take. No more of that, Darren. We could do away with drugs. We could do away with radiation, with chemotherapy, all these things, Darren. Now I just started pleading to your emotions and your buzzwords of hating these things, and you're basically not really thinking about the means to get there anymore. Mm-hmm. And then we slip in the means to get there, but you're already obsessed by the fact that we could get rid of cancer and get rid of all this medical means towards it. That's how buzzwords work. That's how propaganda works, psyops. Now, we mentioned that Elon Musk I think he's the CEO of OpenAI. Oh no, he's a CEO of OpenAI's competitor xAI. Okay, so he's still part of the AI programs, as we mentioned in the past, and he wants to see AI progress because he said, hey, it's going to be here. We may as well embrace it and learn and ride the coattails of it because it's going to be here. He's already predicted it's going to be here because he's already invested in it. And now he's working with these guys. Also involved in this is Microsoft. What do you think that's going to be like? Microsoft, of course, is now I thought we were against the Microsoft, technocratic, big business. I thought Trump was all for individualizations and decentralizing, and here he is embracing Microsoft and Bill Gates, by the way.
Yeah, he had a 3-hour conversation with him.
Yeah. You know, Bill Gates is still involved in Microsoft. He's not the CEO anymore, but he's still involved, deeply involved in Microsoft in the day-to-day operations. You don't think he's involved? And Trump has a speech with him? Now he's our enemy. Bill Gates, I thought, was the enemy of the conspiracy theorist. But we're applauding Trump to talk to our enemy and bring him in, have him involved in all this. And what is Bill Gates primarily involved in at this time? Yeah, medical, vaccines.
I'm wondering if this vaccine could be a solution to the COVID jab that people were subjected to, and it's going to reverse the harmful effects of it without.
Yeah. Bill Gates is all for helping us out and reversing the effects of the vaccines that he's helped invest in and diabolically come up with.
If it means him being free from going to Guantanamo Bay, and him and the rest of his colleagues.
Yeah, I believe that.
I mean, it's a slim possibility.
Yeah. You're too optimistic in this. I can't. No.
Because after I heard the Davos speech,
after
I heard the Davos speech and everything Trump's doing in the 140 executive orders that are just decimating the New World Order. That's why I'm suggesting perhaps that could be at least a viable alternative to what you're saying. Yeah.
I like the fact that he's challenging the deep state and that he seems to be dismantling the New World Order. But I see this kind of stuff, and I wonder if he is, in fact, a Trojan horse playing both sides. But I want to, before I get into the New World Order aspects of this.
I think the answer to that question would be, look at 4 years ago when Trump took office to where we are now, and where's the New World Order and the globalists? Are they better off or are they worse off? In my estimation, after here in Davos, they're worse off. But who knows? It could be a big play, you know?
Yeah, here's how I look at that. The New World Order is everlastingly evolving and shifting. Mm-hmm. And just because it seems like it's dismantled on the decentralization front, it's absolutely progressing on the spiritual front. It's just changing face.
Oh yeah, Satan will always be
prove
active.
That to you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get to that. Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna make the connections to that.
Right. There's no denying that evil will always exist. Absolutely.
Right.
You know?
But I don't think the New World Order is by any means dismantled. I think it's just shifting. So, either way, it's not. It's just changing shape. That's all. Mm-hmm. But I'll prove that in a second. All right.
Sure.
So This Stargate project, you might have heard this before even 2022, before Trump mentioned it and all this, because the Stargate project was a name of another project prior. I didn't want people to confuse this. I mentioned this on Facebook. This project is the AI leg of this Starship or Stargate project, which is this investment firm and all this stuff. This is the technocratic version of this. Not to confuse it with the previous Stargate project. I didn't want people to confuse it. But there are some aspects that are very common. The Stargate project originally was a secret United States Army unit established in 1977 at Fort Meade in Maryland. It was under the Defense Intelligence Agency, and it was basically a subcontracted. I don't doubt that it was involved with DARPA and all this other technology, because it had different code names, but it was a investigative potential development of psychic phenomenon in the military and domestic intelligence applications. They were using astral projection, or what's called remote viewing, occult practices in the military to try to use it to spy. Now, before you think this is hokey pokey, which you know me, Darren, I'll usually call out the hokey pokey, right?
Yep.
I have experimented with remote viewing myself, and I know it is a thing, and it does work.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the means of how it works and what it is very deceptive. It's occult. It's tapping into the interdimensional spirits. It is utilizing the remote visions of a demonic spirit that you're basically tapping into to give you the information. And it takes a toll on your brain. It actually, it's to do with the golden strand, or what is it called? The silver strand. I'm sorry. The silver
cord.
Right.
Yes.
That's to do with astral projection. I've experienced that, Darren. It's a thin cord that you're attached spiritually to your spirit and your body as you move away. I've done these experiments myself, and I've had people witness it. But they were experimenting this in the military, and it was under other code names: Gondola Wish, Stargate, Grill Flame, Center Lane, Project CF, and a couple other names, but it was dubbed under Stargate Project. Now, even though the CIA was termed this, disclosure was in 1995. And usually once they disclose it, we abandoned it. But they don't abandon it. They just hide it under different auspices. But it was declassified under I guess there was President Carter was involved in briefing for it. Geez, I don't know what this is saying about him. So disregard that. I don't know enough to comment on it. I'm just seeing notes here. It was featured in the book and the film, The Men Who Stared at Goats. Remember they were doing the psychic stuff? I haven't seen that movie, but I know what it was about. It was about this stuff.
No, I haven't seen that.
Check it out. The Men Who Stare at Goats. They were able to knock goats down by psychic ability and things like that. It's like Aleister Crowley magic.
Mm-hmm.
There's a magic spell by Aleister Crowley that I used to practice, and it's I don't know a technical name of it, but what he would do was he would take a subject, and I didn't know this when I was practicing it, believe it or not. I read it in a spell book and just tried to conjure it up, because I was dabbling in the occult. I'm not going to make it a mystery. I was dabbling in the occult previously, and there's this ritual that you do. What you do is you mimic somebody. You pick a subject and you concentrate so much on his energy that you mimic his steps, and then you can do something like you can move your neck a certain way and make him turn his head, or basically you puppet him.
Wow.
or you could fall to the ground and make them fall. It's almost like a human voodoo doll,
Mm.
but it's a Aleister Crowley practice. But the
Crazy.
psychic stuff is said to relate to that. How it relates to our systems. Okay. So in this, they were like also involved in opening up portals and tapping into, summoning entities and stuff, just like they always do in the psychological, psychic, mystical world. Dabbling in the paranormal because it was a paranormal experiment. But they were using it to spy, and how they did it, they were trying to use clairvoyance, psychic powers, summoning, and remote viewing to be able to spy and gather information. Guess what? In the technological age that we're in, you don't need all that stuff. They're doing it the same way. They're just using technical means. They're using digital means, virtual means, AI to do the collections and to do the spying. Now, before you say, well, that's manipulative, that's man-made, like, no. When you look deeper into the AI, they don't really know exactly how it works. They say by the innovators, these AIs, they start out as programs, but they end up having their own language, creating their own virtual reality, becoming intelligent on their own.
Wow.
Almost sounds like it's a spiritual entity. And and then it gets into the D-wave quantum computer where they're tapping into the quantum physics and the quantum computer you remember Gordy Rose that we had talked about in the past? He helped innovate this thing that they claim they have no idea how it works.
Wow.
How do you create something you don't know? And then they said standing up against this big black cube machine, they said you can hear it breathing. It's like got its own heartbeat. Like and they said it's like an entity of its own.
Wow. Well, keep in mind, remember the Nephilim spirits, after they died, they roamed the earth seeking some habitation to dwell in.
Exactly.
And it's most preferably a human, but they'll take this AI equipment any day of the year, and perhaps that's what we're dealing with. They can influence and take over the AI to be all through demonic possession.
That's what we're fearing, is that this thing is totally tied with the occult. And then you have like in demonology, you have this guy, I haven't researched him, but I heard his name come up in circles, Stephen Greer, teaching how to summon entities. But there's no telling what entities. How does he know what entities he's recalling? He doesn't know. And these are just like ancient ritual worships. They've been trying to find these gates, these open gates, like the gates of hell.
Portals, right?
Yeah, portals.
I think where it lies is the Dead Sea, right in Israel. I believe that's the lowest point on Earth, and I believe that's perhaps one of the portals into hell itself. Or
where is that?
I could be wrong. Right in the Dead Sea. That would be southern part of Israel, I believe. Southern, somewhere around there.
Yeah, there's points that they kind of had a high regard for, and they call these things ley lines, where they're more apt to having activity. It could be just because that's just where they're met by these entities, but there's certain places that they did more ritualistically, had ancient rituals to call up these demonic entities, these spirits, and trying to open up these gates or the portals, like you said, through proximity and then telepathy as well. And the technology of AI is fusing the virtual world with the physical world and a transhuman hybrid sense, opening up a virtual gate and possibly summoning digital entities. And the word technology, technical, do you know it's the same word as like witchcraft? It's craft. It's skill of the craft. That's all it means. So virtually speaking, it could, the craft, the witchcraft, and the technology craft has no differentiation really.
Mhm.
It's not, we think of technology like devices. It's not, it's not diodes and devices. That's the means that it's using, but the technical end of it is a craft, a skill. That's all it
Oh,
means.
right.
It could be a magic skill. That's technology, technical. So
Mhm.
that's why I've called it in the past. Heard me dub it technological witchcraft.
Mhm. Like a technocratic society just run by technology, you know?
Now, let me share what you said about the new age, the new world order. When Trump mentioned this golden age, and I'm going to tie this up, sum it up with this. Well, I did a study on the new world order. All right. And I found that it goes back to terminology, not necessarily new world order, but order of the ages, like the new order of the ages, which is on your dollar bill.
Mhm. Right.
Nova or Ordo Seclorum. Ordo Seclorum was actually in previous writings. That's in Latin, but before Latin, the New World Order concept that these guys get it from comes from a poem. It comes from the poet Virgil in 40 BC. He wrote a poem with several references that we still use today. And his link was, how they say the New World Order, a lot of people want to say it's the Jewish world order. It's a Jewish world. It's the Jews are the Antichrist, all this stuff about the Jews. It was through and through Roman, right from the beginning.
It
Right
was the
from,
origin of it. Yeah.
yeah. And I believe that's
Still today.
the nation that was, that is, and that is to come. I believe that it's this perpetual beast system. And I'm going to prove that it runs threads through everything. But the post that Virgil posted, the poem, he made references that he was satisfying his Roman sponsors with prophecies for the Roman Empire, both present and future. And he was after the assassination of Julius Caesar, he appealed to a couple different people. One was Caesar Augustus with his poems of prophecy about Rome and their rise to empire, and he made reference in part of his poem, the Cumean Sibyl, claiming that as a source of his unfolding prophecy concerning Magnus Ordo Seclorum, a great order of the ages. And that's what became the modern motto of the interpretation of the new order of the ages, or the New World Order. Now, in this philosophy and prophecy that he came up with, that they used as a model for their strength, one of his prophecies was to return justice with a new breed of men. In other words, have a new age of justice returning with this new breed of men of the golden age. And he gave much attention to the Roman gods like Jupiter and Saturn, which is actually Cronus, that would be appeased by this venture. So it links the Roman pantheons of gods. Now, what does that have to do with this? Well, a lot of things. Well, first of all, when you talk about Jupiter, some worship Jupiter, some worshiped Saturn. They were the two great lights.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really synonymous. But Saturn was the focus of Rome in most circles because Saturnalia, Saturn worship, Cronus. And the concept was the rising of the age of man in the Magnus Annus, or the great year that begins the great golden age, with the idea that there will be a periodic rule of Saturn, a new rule of Saturn. And this would commence the age of Aquarius, where we've heard that before. New Age.
Mm-hmm. Right.
New Age. I studied New Age. The Age of Aquarius comes up. Matter of fact, there's a song by that.
Right.
The Age of Aquarius.
I think Tom Jones used to sing that.
No, that was Fifth Dimension.
Fifth Dimension? Okay, right.
Well, maybe he did, but fifth dimension. And what's it referred to as the Age of Aquarius?
Well, I know the
When-
one age prior to that was the age of Pisces, where it was like,
Yeah,
in biblical terms, that could be us sharing the gospel and
maybe.
getting a harvest of souls.
But this Age of Aquarius was referring to the pantheon gods of Rome, like Apollo, as well as Jupiter.
Mhm.
And the golden age will come to Rome. Now that sounds familiar when Trump was boasting about the golden age. Now that song, in that song, Age of Aquarius, now I got to get it because I mentioned it.
Although keep in mind, though, it could have more than one meaning, the golden age.
Oh yeah. But like I mentioned, a lot of things can have dual meanings.
And
Remember
can Trump be mocking them by saying that when it's actually a different meaning? Who knows?
I know you're always looking for the positives twist on Trump, but I don't think so. But could he not know what it means? Yes, that's very likely. Could he be not realizing what he's saying? Yes, very likely. Does he do it purposely to mock them? I don't know. I don't think so.
Because if you want to take it from a biblical term, the streets in heaven are made of gold, so it could be a biblical reference to a golden age of
yeah, maybe he's
prosperity.
talking about the Bible. Maybe he's secretly a Christian on our side. No,
possible.
I don't think so. So in the words of the fifth dimension's Age of Aquarius, it says, "Oh, when Jupiter lines with Mars, and
that's what we have right now in the sky. If you look out in the sky in the southern." That really bright one is Jupiter, and there's alignment supposed to be like a massive alignment coming up within a week. I forgot how many different celestial bodies are going to be coming into an alignment, which is an extremely rare event. But anyway.
All right. Well, this follows suit with the use of astrology in occultism, and they line up things according to astrology. And if people don't think that they deliberately pick dates and pick lines of this. Do you remember when Ronald Reagan was president?
Yes.
Do you remember often what he referred to as his guidance?
Astrology, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nancy Reagan was an astrologist.
Oh, right.
She was in this, and she regarded Jean Dixon, the psychic, and used that to schedule. She scheduled Reagan's schedule according to astrology. He was using astrology for his moves.
It's not surprising considering he was a member of the Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
Although all the presidents are,
yeah,
except for Trump.
Yeah, I haven't heard Trump.
Yeah, he's the only one that hasn't been since Kennedy.
Right.
So, yep.
Yeah, anyway. Right. Yeah, but so this stuff is to do with the golden age, and this is according to Rome, the golden age of Rome. I'm likening it to that in the New World Order according to that. Now, before you think that Rome doesn't have a place, the Jews don't have a place. Like, yes, they have a place in the White House, and yes, they have they have a place in the. But if for those that say this is a Jew world order, or New World Order of the Jews, no, that's what they say.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, that's what they say. It's always been Rome. To prove this. Is there, there's Hebrew references in on symbols in the White House and things like that. So people say, see, it's proof. But there is more proof that it's pantheon modeled after Rome. Matter of fact, we could prove that more incidentally than we can of anything else. I mean, the obelisk, the Egyptian obelisk that's actually in Vatican, also here. 3 places that it's, and Washington, D.C. reflects the pantheon model of Rome.
It's just infiltrated with all types of that.
We see images of their gods throughout.
Oh, it's terrible. Well, Washington, D.C., folks, if you want a nice tour, just go through and look at all the hieroglyphs, whatever you want to call them.
Images.
Occultic images.
There's I can't remember what it is, but it's a view of, like, up in the sky, you could see the view of the Aquarius and things like that, because it was pointing to the gods, the emblem and the symbolism down below. Now, just the names. Do you know why it's called the Capitol building?
Capitol, C-A-P-I-T-O-L, right? The Capitol.
Yeah, O-L, Capitol.
Capitol.
Nothing was called the Capitol before that. Why is it called the Capitol?
Good question,
because Thomas Jefferson wanted the main headquarters to be called the Capitol to honor the Capitolina triad, known as Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva, which is Jupiter's daughter, who is wisdom. Minerva, the wisdom. Minerva, the Minerval owl. The Bohemian Grove. See where that comes in?
Wow.
What's the third degree? What's the first degree of the Illuminati? Well, first degree, I think it's Freemasonry. Second degree, one of them is Minerva. The Minerval degrees. This is the Capitolina. And it's where Jefferson wanted to make a representation of the Rome's Temple of Jupiter. That's what the Capitol stands for. And George Washington was personified as a god. The pictured ascending as a god relating to Saturn and Cronus, or Saturnalia. So to fast forward, December 21st, 2020, the constellations lined up Jupiter and Saturn. And I believe there was one of them, there was a lineup of Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars, just like the song says, the Age of Aquarius. And I thought that was going to be like a big announcement that they were in the Age of Aquarius. I didn't hear much about it, but in their circles there is. I just didn't hear it in public. But now I'm starting to hear it. So Jupiter and Saturn, the two big equated signs of the two great lights in the sky, would fulfill the Age of Aquarius. And New Age Circle says this marks the beginning of the Golden Age era. Now, not saying that was what Trump was referring to, so I'll give you that, Darren.
Right.
But I'm saying, just like Bush said 1,000 points of life, maybe not referring to the New Age or knowing what he was referring to, these hints that Trump's giving is synonymous with the building of Rome's golden age and decentralizing of power, of consolidation to Rome. Trump seems to be an embodiment of that desire.
Well, comparing the two, 1,000 points of lights to a golden age, I think 1,000 points of lights is more concise, where a golden age is ambiguous.
It's got a little
more.
People have used different meanings for it.
Right.
But if we think subconsciously that it's being used and probably promoted as such, Trump may not realize that he's quoting the New Age philosophy and the New Age agenda.
Possibly. Yeah.
But he's given into AI nonetheless, right?
Well, hopefully for the good aspects of it, not the bad.
Okay, for the good aspects, but he's still given into this thing. And the New World Order that he's promoting, maybe it is a blow in the face of the WEF's New World Order, but maybe it is and I'm speculating just as much as you are for your optimism, maybe the New World Order is transferring to this spiritual age, and Rome is getting a new embodiment. Who knows? But I believe they're definitely involved. But you've got to remember also, Trump has statues in his penthouse apartment. Did you see the pictures of that?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Apollo.
Yep. Oh yeah.
He's got these symbols: the Jupiter, the Saturn, the Mars. Maybe he does know what he's doing. He's also into the Kabbalah. That is Jewish mysticism. That's the Jewish. See, just because it's Jewish mysticism doesn't mean that's signs that the Jews are taking over a New World Order.
Yeah. In relation to what he's done so far to the New World Order, I think it far outweighs any dabbling into the whatever he did. Far outweighs. Because I got a list, just a short list of some of the stuff he.
All right, go ahead and read it.
Well, if I can read my writing here, let's see. Something about $8 trillion in taxation. He's going to be removing regulations, inflation.
Okay. We like that.
Yep. The border, government spending, reducing immigration, border security. He declared an emergency at the border, reducing crime, actually eliminating crime from the cabal. No, not the cabal. the Mexican cartel. That's the word, cartel. Foreign aid freeze, government efficiency department that he established now. He's doing away with the IRS and Internal Revenue Service and establishing the External Revenue Service. The Green New Scam, he called it right to their face instead of the Green New Deal, the Green New Scam. We're pulling out of that, pulling out of the
DEI.
Right. Yep. And also the Paris Climate Accord. That's part of it there. And then he's going to be tapping into the liquid gold under our feet, the oil, and making us energy independent, declaring an energy emergency. Let's see. I can't even read my own writing. I was just bringing manufacturing back into the country and declaring tariffs on countries that, eliminating regulations, largest tax cuts in U.S. history, tariffs. Let's see.
Reestablishing the military that was booted out because they wouldn't take the vaccine.
That too, yes, yep.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay,
oh yeah,
go
and
ahead.
Declaring OPEC to lower the oil prices, and then kicking out transgenderism from the country.
Right.
So
we're all for that, right?
Yeah.
So he's appeased you, right? So he's got you on his side. He's directed you towards those positives that you say outweighs the negatives. So he's got you, right?
Well, he doesn't have me, but I'm just saying
But that's the positive that we're focused on. Right. We like those things, right?
Yeah. All you've been doing is focusing on the bad.
Conservatives are appeased.
Yes.
Christian conservatives are appeased. Political nationalist conservatives are appeased. They're all appeased. So he can do no wrong because look at all this stuff that he's getting rid of the deep state. He's attacking the great, right, Darren?
I'm just saying weigh the good and the bad.
Operation Trojan Horse.
Keep in mind.
Like he could sneak in and he could sit there and pull the wool under your eyes while he's putting the face on that we all like and want to see. And we don't realize that he could be ushering us into the new world order or the new age.
Well,
and we wouldn't know it because we're blinded by all the good things that he's doing.
He's proven to be accountable because when he's doing something wrong, his colleagues will say, hey, Trump, or at Twitter or wherever it is, the Patriots will say, hey, Trump, we don't like this. This is bad. And he didn't realize it and he'll change it. So.
Yeah.
Even like Alex Jones, who you think is a shill, but I think he's doing some pretty good stuff. He's saying if Trump does this, I'm going to go off on him. And so he's got 107. You got other guys that are true Christians that are just going to be watching to make sure that, that he stays on course. So, and he's willing to. So
David Icke recently said some things about Trump. He's exposed. I didn't see him, but.
Ike thinks he's
but what do we think of Ike? I don't know.
Right.
David Icke, I don't really he's too new ageist for me. So
also with the California, right. The California wildfires, I call them say that, I put that in parentheses, wildfire, but he's he's repleting the wells with water.
Right, he's ordering them to clean out and everything else.
Right. That was
no, he's doing good, but I think it could easily be used for a redirection because we've got our mind on the good things and we're overlooking all these little inserts of backdoor things that.
Well, keep in mind the backdoor things. One of them was smart cities, and that's what they were trying to establish in California. Yeah. But Trump says. Talking to the mayor, he says, as of today, these people are going to go into their properties, start cleaning up so they can build their own houses again. But the smart cities want everybody in that's part of the
flocking and corralling into this.
One thing after another, Trump is just putting a major blow to the New World Order. Just everything he's doing. Now, the only thing is the golden age. Does that golden age mean what you said, or it could have another meaning? And the vaccine, the AI vaccine thing, is that bad or could be used for good? So to think that
he's going to take it?
No, but I'm enjoying the good he's doing. But like I said, to accuse him to actually say he's using it for bad when you don't know his own heart,
Okay.
That's you got to say I might be wrong. He might be doing it for good, and maybe he just doesn't know. But I could be wrong as well. So
all right, we'll see. And we'll see. That's good point. Okay, you got the optimism point of it.
Yep.
So
I'm sure some people are cheering what I just.
and some people are blasting you and cursing me
course.
for not
Yep.
saying anything. But so what? You know, I let people speak. Okay. So we have different views of things, and we could share them, and we could cordially talk about it. So
Right. And I humbly say I could be wrong with everything I'm saying, you know, but who knows? We'll see. You know?
yeah.